Chris Hecker, and I wrote this game called Spy Party, or working on it, and we're at PAX West 2012 in booth 3002. So Spy Party is it's an indie video game, and it's a intensely competitive video game, but it's competitive in a very different way than most competitive video games. So you might think about video games like StarCraft or Street Fighter or Counter-Strike when you think competitive. But Spy Party is a game about basically people skills, human behavior, psychology, perception, and deception. So the idea is there's a kind of Casino Royale-esque cocktail party at the ambassador's mansion or something like that. And that party is filled with people doing party things like, having a drink or flirting or looking at the priceless artwork or, sitting down and whatever. Reading a book, looking at a magazine. And that party is filled with these people, and the one player, it's a 1v1, one versus one game right now. There'll be other modes eventually. One of the players is the spy and chooses one of those characters at the party to control, and they are trying to act like they're at the party, but at the same time do spy missions like, for example, bug the ambassador, or poison someone's drink, or steal a priceless statue, or those kinds of things. Meanwhile, looking in at the party from outside is the sniper, who has one bullet and has to figure out which person at the party is the spy and shoot them before the time runs out or the spy accomplishes all their missions. So on one side, it's a very asymmetric game. On one side, the spy is playing a game of deception and performance, and on the other side, the sniper is playing a game of perception, trying to figure out, weed out through all of this information who it could possibly be. And so you get this very psychological game where I think that might be it, but he's acting pretty normal now. I don't want to spend too much time watching that person because there's so much other stuff going on. The spy is thinking, oh, the sniper's looking over there right now, because the spy can see the sniper's laser sight going through the party, which is the center of his screen, so you have some idea where he's looking. So both sides are completely different games in the same space, and it turns out to be an incredibly tense, competitive experience. I've been working on this game for so long. It's probably been 3 years. I worked on Spore for 6 years at Maxis, and then I worked on Spy Party for 3 years, and it probably has a couple more years left. There's this thing right now, indie games, it's kind of the golden age of indie games right now, and you really have this opportunity, everything's come together, basically pushing the art form forward, game design, and kind of the business models are all working out really well. It's kind of this golden age where you can basically take your time. Spy Party is a paid beta, kind of like Minecraft or Frozen Synapse, games like that. So I can fund the game by players who want to play. Because it's a competitive game, I need to do a long-term beta anyway, but those players can help fund the development of the game, and so you can work on it long enough to make it perfect. So the idea is, I have this concept of a perfect jewel. It's not trying to be all games to all people. It's trying to do very specifically this very intense, psychological, competitive multiplayer game, and I can take the time to make it perfect because of the paid beta and the way that the indie scene works right now. So it's awesome. So right now, if you look at the actual gameplay, it's very low-res art. It's all programmer art, as we call it. But eventually, it'll be this by next PAX, hopefully. I want the art to reflect the subtlety of the game design. So very stylish, subtle expressions, things like that. And so, so I can just basically take the time to make the game design perfect. That's why I'm not afraid to show the crappy art. This just basically says that I'm focused completely on the core gameplay, and then I can take the time to make it beautiful, and awesome sound design and everything. So, I mean, knock on wood if the whole thing could fall apart, but you can see from the line and stuff, people are really interested in the game and responding really well, and so hopefully I can take the next couple of years and make it perfect. I'm trying to go slow for two reasons. One, the back-end server stuff is not scalable yet to accept all those people. I'd love to invite them all in now. But the second thing is the community is really great. A game like this is so different from most video games that basically advanced players need to mentor newer players. It's just not like any other video game. So you can see, I don't know if you got any footage, but there's a 4-page instruction manual you have to read before you play this game. Eventually it'll be more accessible than that, but I've spent all the time making it deep and to really fine-tuning the competitive gameplay. And so there's a really great community of people who are willing to help out. There's a great private beta forum and things like that of people who are helping out newbies, learn to play more advanced games. The booth is actually set up for this right now. There's, instead of having 3 machines that are all for noobs, this machine here is unlimited play. So anybody who gets on this machine can play as many games as they want with no one telling them to get off. Everybody else has to wait in line for that machine over there. And so all my booth helpers are people from the beta, and he's like, this guy over here is training these guys some more advanced play. And so I really want it to be about the depth. And so everything in the beta is geared towards that. Like the Delta, the stuff that's different between this PAX and last PAX is not actually noticeable to anyone who hasn't played a lot. It's all been beta tuning, really stuff at the 100-hour level. I want to put Spy Party everywhere. So right now the beta is on PC because it's the easiest place to do a beta. I control all the variables. It runs on the Mac under emulation. It runs really well on the Mac. I'm super glad for this thing called Wineskin that allows it to run on the Mac. So it's PC and Mac right now. Eventually when I ship, it'll be XBLA, PSN, Wii U, iPad, whatever. I mean, a couple years from now, who even knows what's going to be out? That'll be cool. Tablets, all kinds of different stuff. So on Spore was an amazing project. I got to do just a ton. I did a lot of the stuff that kind of brought the creatures alive, like creature skin painting and the animation system and all that kind of stuff. There's a really cool creature editor where you kind of snapped all this stuff together and the creature came to life. But the thing I learned was that it was a moment actually. Rob Pardo, who's the chief of game design at Blizzard, was giving this talk. It's probably 5-7 years ago at this point. But he talked about how they have a depth-first accessibility design process at Blizzard, where they worry about making a 300-hour game first, then they make it so that anybody can pick it up and play it, right? And on Spore, we ended up doing accessibility first, depth never. It never got to be a deep game, except for the creature editor. Some of the editors are deep and really compelling, but the actual gameplay itself never really got there. And so I promised myself when I was working on Spy Party afterwards that I was going to do depth first, accessibility later, which is why the game is so ugly. It's why you have to read a 4-page manual and all of these things, because I'm just focused on the depth. And it seems to be working so far, knock on wood. Yeah, so SpyParty.com is a blog. There's Spy Party Twitter and Spy Party Facebook. You can fan page or whatever. But the blog is the main thing. I update the blog. It's a kind of open development process like the modern indie games, where you talk about what decisions you made and why you changed things and what you're struggling with, and just what basically the development process every day. But on there at the top you can see beta sign up, and you can click through there and get your email address signed up, and then you'll be in line for the beta, and then hopefully when I open it up in a couple months you'll get in, and there you go.
IndieGameReviewer.com